Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when you realize that you can't keep giving your energy to everything and everyone around you. You can't keep chasing people, opinions, or outcomes and expect to have peace. There's a point when you must pause and ask yourself, what would happen if I took all the love, all the energy, all the time I've been given to others and started giving it back to myself? That's the moment everything changes. Because the truth is you can't heal in a place that keeps hurting you. You can't find peace in the same environment that keeps breaking your spirit. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. You can't become the person you were created to be if you're too busy trying to please people who don't even understand your purpose. Sometimes we stay in spaces that are comfortable but not healthy. We stay in friendships, routines, or mindsets that no longer serve where we're going. You have to make peace with walking away from things that no longer feed your growth, because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't show up for the world if you've stopped showing up for yourself. Focusing on yourself means protecting your peace, setting boundaries, and refusing to let temporary feelings stop you from long-term purpose. The world often celebrates the outcome, the trophy, the success, the spotlight, but rarely does it see the process. Your process is sacred. It's messy, quiet, and often misunderstood. But your process is more important than their applause, because growth doesn't always look good. It's lonely. It's full of moments when you question if it's even working. But the process is where you build patience, character, and faith. If you skip the process, you miss the purpose. You have to learn to trust the unseen work, the hours you put in when nobody's clapping, the sacrifices you make when nobody notices. That's where greatness is born. You don't need the world's validation when you're walking in alignment with your purpose. Discipline is one of the greatest acts of self-love. When you stay consistent, when you show up even when you don't feel like it, that's love. Discipline says, I believe in who I'm becoming, even if I don't see it yet. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're proving to yourself that you matter. The hardest battles are not against the world, they're within. It's the voice that says, rest later. It's the temptation that whispers, it's not that serious. But when you stay committed, when you do what you said you would do long after the feeling has left, that's when your life starts to shift. Discipline builds confidence. It builds trust between you and you. And when life hits you, because it will, you have to remember that pain is not punishment, it's preparation. Pain has a purpose. Every scar, every loss, every tear, it's shaping something inside you that comfort never could. You don't grow in the good times, you grow when life tests you. The pain you feel today might be the story that saves someone tomorrow. So don't run from it. Don't bury it. Let it mold you. Because what's breaking you now may be building you for what's coming next. Every great transformation begins in discomfort. One of the most powerful things you can do is stay silent when everyone else is making noise. Silence is not weakness. It's strength. You don't have to broadcast your every move. You don't have to explain your every step. Growth happens in quiet places. When you stop explaining yourself and start evolving, people will see the difference. Let your actions speak. Let your consistency make the noise, because focus requires silence. The more you grow, the less you need to prove. At the end of the day, you owe it to the person in the mirror. That's who you live with. That's who knows the truth. You can lie to the world, but you can't lie to yourself. So show up for that person. Believe in that person. Invest in that person. Every decision, every discipline, every prayer, every act of kindness, it's building that version of you. Because when you become the best version of yourself, you give the world permission to do the same. So stop chasing people. Stop seeking approval. Stop waiting for someone else to see your value. Focus on yourself. Build your peace. Honor your process. Trust your pain. Protect your silence. And love the person you're becoming. Because the power of focusing on yourself is that once you grow, everything connected to you grows too. You can't heal in a place that keeps hurting you. That truth hits hard because so many of us try to fix ourselves while staying in the same environments that broke us. We think if we just try harder, love more, or stay longer, something will change. But growth doesn't happen where you're constantly reminded of your wounds. Healing requires distance, not just from people, but from habits, patterns, and mindsets that keep reopening old scars. There comes a moment when you realize peace is not found in chaos. You can't become your best self while constantly surrounded by negativity, gossip, or comparison. Sometimes the greatest act of strength is walking away. Not because you're bitter, but because you finally love yourself enough to protect your peace. You have to stop trying to prove your worth to places that never valued it. Every time you return to what broke you, you teach your heart to settle for less than it deserves. Healing is uncomfortable because it asks you to let go. It asks you to release control, detach from familiar pain, and trust the unknown. But staying where you're not growing only keeps you stuck. You can't become who you were created to be if you keep replaying the same story. You must be willing to rewrite the narrative, one that no longer centers on your pain, but on your purpose. The truth is, you can't expect people who hurt you to help you heal. Some spaces are meant for lessons, not for living. And that's okay. Not everyone can walk with you into your next chapter. When you choose yourself, you'll lose people, but you'll find peace. And peace will teach you more than pain ever could. Sometimes you have to separate to elevate. The distance you create isn't rejection, it's protection. Because your environment either feeds your faith or fuels your fear. You owe it to yourself to be in spaces that speak life, not doubt. Growth doesn't mean you hate where you came from. It means you love yourself enough to move beyond it. So take a step back, breathe, look around. If it's not helping you heal, it's holding you hostage. And you deserve to be free. Your process is more important than their applause. In a world that celebrates outcomes, we often forget the beauty of the journey. Everyone loves the moment of success, the spotlight, the recognition, the standing ovation. But few see the lonely nights, the silent battles, and the unseen sacrifices that built it. The process is where your strength is formed. It's where your faith is tested. It's where you learn who you truly are when no one is watching. Too many people chase validation instead of transformation. They want to be seen before they're ready, praised before they've been proven. But real growth doesn't happen under applause. It happens in silence, when no one's cheering, when no one's watching, when all you have is your discipline and your dream. That's where greatness is born. The process teaches you patience. It humbles you. It reminds you that success isn't about speed. It's about direction. Everyone wants to shine, but not everyone wants to struggle. Yet it's the struggle that gives meaning to the success. Because when you've been through the fire, you value every ounce of victory. Applause fades. Awards gather dust. But who you become in the process, that's permanent. The process molds your character, your faith, and your mindset. It's not about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. You don't need the world to see your progress. You just need to know that every step, every setback, and every small victory is building something inside you. So don't rush it. Don't chase the noise. Embrace the process. Because one day when you look back, you'll realize the journey itself was the reward, and the applause you were waiting for never mattered as much as the person you became along the way. Discipline is the highest form of self-love. It's easy to talk about goals, to dream about success, to post motivation online, but true love for yourself shows up in your consistency. It's not about how loud you start. It's about how long you stay committed. Discipline is not punishment, it's a promise. A promise that says, I believe in the person I'm becoming, even when I don't see the results yet. Every day you wake up and choose discipline, you're choosing growth over comfort. You're saying no to distractions, no to shortcuts, no to the voice that whispers, do it tomorrow. Because discipline knows that what you do daily matters more than what you do occasionally. You may not see progress right away, but every small act of consistency compounds into something powerful. Discipline builds self-trust. When you keep showing up for yourself, even when you're tired, unmotivated, or afraid, you start believing that you can rely on you. That's where confidence comes from. It's not from compliments or achievements. It's from knowing that no matter how hard life gets, you'll stay true to your mission. The world often confuses love with comfort, but real love challenges you. Real love holds you accountable. Discipline says, I care too much about my future to waste my present. It teaches you to delay gratification, to put purpose above pleasure. And here's the truth. Discipline will take you places motivation never could. Motivation fades, feelings change, but discipline stays. It's the difference between wishing for a better life and working for one. So every time you stay consistent when it's hard, every time you choose growth over excuses, remember this, that's love. Because discipline is how you honor your potential before the world ever sees it. Pain builds the foundation of purpose. No one likes to hurt. No one prays for heartbreak, loss, or disappointment. But the truth is, some of the most powerful lessons in life come wrapped in pain. Pain strips away comfort. It forces you to see what truly matters. It introduces you to parts of yourself you never knew existed, because you don't really know your strength until pain demands you to use it. Every wound carries wisdom if you're willing to listen. When life knocks you down, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Sometimes the things that hurt the most are the very things that shape your character. Pain doesn't show up to destroy you. It shows up to develop you. It reveals your patience, your faith, your endurance. It teaches you that growth doesn't happen when everything is easy. It happens when you're forced to rise after being broken. Pain has a way of clarifying purpose. It strips away ego and pride, leaving only truth. It makes you realize that life is not about avoiding struggle, but about transforming through it. Every setback, every betrayal, every closed door, it's shaping you for something greater. What you're going through isn't meant to stop you. It's meant to strengthen you. When you start seeing pain as a teacher instead of an enemy, everything changes. You stop running from it and start learning from it. You start turning your wounds into wisdom, your losses into lessons. And over time, you realize the very pain that tried to break you actually built the version of you that was strong enough to walk in purpose. Because purpose isn't born in comfort, it's born in the fire. Silence is the loudest proof of focus. In a world that's constantly shouting, posting, and proving, there's a rare power in moving quietly. When you're truly focused, you don't need to announce your every step. Your results will do the talking. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means strength under control. It's choosing peace over attention, purpose over performance. Growth doesn't need to be broadcast. The seed grows underground before it ever breaks the surface. We live in a time where everyone wants to be seen, but few want to be still. But true transformation happens in silence. In those unseen moments when you're grinding, learning, praying, and preparing. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to stay faithful to your process. Because when you're focused, you realize that talking about it isn't the same as doing it. Energy wasted on explaining yourself could have been used to build yourself. There's a certain power that comes from not responding, not reacting, and not seeking validation. Silence allows clarity. It helps you hear your own voice above the noise. It teaches you that progress doesn't always need an audience. Sometimes the best way to show growth is to keep building while everyone else is watching for updates. Your silence will confuse people who only understand noise. But don't let that distract you. Let your consistency make the announcement. Let your discipline do the talking. Because when your time comes, when your fruit finally shows, you won't need to convince anyone. Your results will speak for themselves. So keep moving in silence. Keep building. Keep working. Don't explain, just execute. Because real focus doesn't need attention, it needs action. And when you master silence, you master yourself. You owe it to the person in the mirror. Every day, you wake up and face the one person who will be with you through every success, every failure, every triumph, and every disappointment, yourself. That's the person who knows your truth, your struggles, and your potential. You can lie to the world, hide behind masks, or chase approval, but you cannot lie to yourself. Focusing on yourself means committing to honor that person, investing in your growth, your discipline, and your peace. Too often, we spend our energy trying to meet everyone else's expectations while neglecting the one expectation that matters most, the one we have for ourselves. You cannot pour into the world if you haven't first poured into the person you see each morning. That means showing up even when it's hard, making choices that align with your purpose, and refusing to settle for less than what you deserve. Investing in yourself requires courage. It requires saying no to distractions, no to people who drain you, and sometimes even no to comfort. Every decision you make for your growth is a declaration of self-respect. It's a way of telling yourself that you matter, that your dreams matter, and that your life is worth the effort. When you focus on yourself, you're not being selfish, you're being intentional. You're building a foundation so strong that the world around you cannot shake it. You're preparing yourself to contribute from a place of fullness rather than emptiness. Every habit you cultivate, every lesson you embrace, every moment of reflection is an investment in the person you're becoming. So look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I living for me? Am I growing, learning, and protecting my peace? The answer will guide every choice you make. Because when you invest in the person in the mirror, you set the stage for everything else in your life to fall into alignment. You become unstoppable. As we come to the close of this journey together, I want you to take a moment and really hear this. The power of focusing on yourself is not about selfishness. It's about survival, growth, and purpose. It's about understanding that you cannot pour into the world from an empty cup and that the person in the mirror deserves your love, your attention, and your discipline. Every step you take toward yourself, every boundary you set, every habit you build, every silent moment you honor is a step toward the life you were created to live. Remember, your process matters more than applause. Your discipline is a form of self-respect, and your pain is not punishment. It's preparation. Growth doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in quiet, in the unseen hours, in the choices you make when nobody is watching. And when you choose to focus on yourself, you start to see the ripple effect. Your relationships improve, your clarity sharpens, your purpose becomes undeniable, and your peace becomes unshakable. So today, I challenge you to invest in yourself like never before. Protect your peace. Honor your process. Embrace your pain. Stay silent when necessary. And love the person you are becoming. Because when you do, everything else in your life starts to align. Doors you never imagined will open. Opportunities you never expected will appear. And the life you've been searching for, the life you're capable of living, begins to unfold. Focus on yourself. Grow, evolve, and trust the journey. The person you're becoming is worth it. Your life is worth it. And the world, in turn, will feel the impact of the version of you who finally decided to show up fully, intentionally, and unapologetically. Your journey starts now.